Hello world, my name is Simon, and in this video I want to talk about an experiment that Zogo ran to ask the user to rate the app. So Zogo is an education company that is focused on financial literacy. So in this first experiment that we ever ran, this was our first edition, we asked the user, would you mind rating Zogo? And we gave them two options. 44% of the time, the user said, sure, they would not mind rating Zogo. And then they were sent to either the iOS store or the Android store. What we wanted to improve on with this design was increasing this number, the 44%, to actually go and rate the app. And then the second thing we wanted to do was influence who was rating the app, because the rating in the App Store is extremely important for users to be able to judge before they download the app. So obviously a higher rating is extremely beneficial. So we wanted to have some sort of filter to make sure that people that were not happy with the app would tell us rather than tell the App Store, if that makes sense. And then the users that were happy, we wanted them to tell the App Store. So this was our very first experiment, and it worked relatively well, but we did get several one-star reviews from this process, I guess. So let me show you what we ended up building to combat this, this problem statement that I mentioned. And then in a minute, I will show you the results of this experiment. So in this one, we asked the user, are you enjoying Zogo? In which case they have two options, yes, I am, and no, I'm not. If they press no, I'm not, we show them one particular screen, which I will go over in a second. But if they say, yes, I am, there are two experiences that we had to account for. One was the iOS experience and one was Android. So iOS actually offers an in-app review system, and this is extremely, this works extremely well, actually. So once the user is okay with reviewing the app, there's a pop-up that appears, and then they can essentially give it 1 to 5 star rating. In the event that the user is on Android, we had to build in another step, another layer, which was asking the user if they would be willing to rate the app. And the reason for this is if the user presses yes, I am, we didn't think it made very much sense to automatically send the user to the Play Store, because that might be a poor experience, a poor user experience. So we asked the user, do you want to rate the app? In which case they have, again, two options, sure and no thank you. And then, as I mentioned earlier, if the user says they are not enjoying the app, we ask them to essentially tell us why. So this was the experiment that we ran. Just off of the bat, it would seem that iOS is a lot more effective than Android, because iOS essentially lets you rate within the app, and then Android, there's this extra layer that we had to account for. So let me show you the results of this experiment. So straight off the bat, are you enjoying Zogo? 95% of users said they are, which is already a very good sign. And then in which case we had this filter system that I mentioned between Android and iOS. So 56% of users were were iOS, and then 75% of those iOS users ended up leaving a review. And in the App Store, we have a 4.6 average rating, so it is safe to assume that the average rating was roughly 4.6. So this already has a much higher conversion rate than the very first experiment that I showed you, where we just asked the user to rate the app. And we can filter the users who are happy and who are not happy. So for Android, as I mentioned, we had this second layer. Do you want to rate the app? 30% of users surprisingly said sure, and 70% said no. So as you can see, just between Android and iOS, huge difference. And really Android is quite, I would say this is disappointing results. So there might be reason to think about how we can improve the Android experience as well. And actually, this is where I would love your feedback. If you have any ideas, do let me know in the comments how you would increase the Android experience in this example. So in the event that 5% of users said no, they're not enjoying Zogo, we had this extra screen where the user can leave their feedback. And in this one, surprisingly, 50% left their review and 50% closed it. So I think really what the issue for Android users is the idea of going to another app and then having to leave the review. So it's not like a seamless process. It's not inside of the app. And so this is why 30% is quite low. But overall, I would say that this is a relatively successful experiment, especially for iOS users. But as I say, Android does need some improvement. So if you do have any ideas on how you would improve this, let me know. But this was the Zogo experiment. If you liked it, please let me know in the comments, and there will be more videos soon. Thank you.